When you leave your home, do you keep the door open or lock it before you go? Let's meet two different characters named Bob and Martin. They are friends at the same age, but there is a big difference between them. Let's see what is that. Let's consider the Bob first. Bob is a responsible kid. So whenever he leave the home, he makes sure that the door is closed and locked, and he keep the key inside his pocket so that no one else can open the door other than Bob. If someone else want to open the door, then Bob must give the key to that person. On the other hand, let's consider the Martin. Martin is a lazy boy and doesn't show any responsibility. So whenever he leave the house, he keep the door open always. Now let's analyze the character between the Bob and Martin. As we said, Bob is a responsible kid who always lock the door before he go out, and he makes sure the door is locked with the key, and he keep the key always in his pocket. That means no one else can open the door and enter to his house. On the other hand, Martin is a lazy guy who always keep the door open when he leave the house. That means anyone can go inside Martin's house and take all the valuable things from his home because the door is open. There is no security at all. Now the question is, what kind of person you are? You are like Bob or Martin. Here the concept is about the security. If you want to save the valuable item inside your home, please close the door and lock it before you go outside so that no one can enter and take your valuable things. The same concept is applicable for your computer, router, switch, firewall or any other network devices. If you want to secure the data or if you want to secure your network, you must enable the security for your devices, or the people from outside can access your device and get all the valuable data and destroy your network. So you must protect your devices with a key. And what is this key? This key is simply the password. You need to protect your devices with a password so that other people cannot access your device and steal the data from you. So in this video we are going to talk about how to secure your Cisco devices from the unauthorized access. Welcome to the video. Welcome to CCNA 200-301, Implementing and Administering Cisco Solutions, Chapter number 42, How to Secure Your Cisco Devices. Learn CCNA with Irash Academy. I have placed the complete CCNA playlist at the top right corner of the video information bar. You need to always remember that your network is the key point to your organization valuable data. So you must secure your network devices from the unauthorized access to protect your data. Now, how can we protect your data? How can we secure your Cisco devices? There are multiple ways to secure your Cisco devices, and we will discuss about it. The point number one is enable password. This is simply means that you need to set up a password in your network device so that if anyone want to access your network devices, they must enter the password. Then only they get the access. If they are not able to provide the password, then their access will be denied. So the first point is set up a password for your Cisco devices. Now, how to set up a password in your Cisco devices? Let me take you to the lab and show you how to set up a password. This is a console of my Cisco router and it is showing the message press return to get started. So let me press the enter key. Now I am at the user mode. From the user mode, if I want to go to the privilege mode, I need to use the command enable, and when I enter the command enable, now I am at the privilege mode. And from the privilege mode, I can go to the global configuration mode by using the command configure terminal enter. So in this router, I can easily go from user mode to privilege mode and from privilege mode to global configuration mode. Nowhere it asks any password. So that means anyone get access to this router using the console or remote access, they can easily go to the privilege mode and global configuration mode and make the changes as per their requirement. No security at all. So how to prevent this unauthorized access? To prevent this unauthorized access, we must set up a password in this Cisco device so that anyone who want to access this router they must enter the password to get access to the device. If they don't have the password, they can't get access to the device. So how to set up a password? To set up a password, we can use the command enable then password. And when I enter the question mark, what are the options available here? We have 3 options available here. The first one is 7 and its description is specify a hidden password will follow. That means if you enter the 7 here, then you are telling to the Cisco iOS like whatever you are typing after the number 7, it's a hidden password. So that Cisco iOS can understand that you are entering a hidden password. The second option is line and its description is the unencrypted enable password. It is also called clear text password. Then the third option is level and its description is set exact level password. Now here we are going to talk about this option line. We are going to enable a clear text password. So let me put my password here. I use the command enable password, then let me put my password Irash. So this is the password I am using here in this router, and when I press enter, the password has been set. Now if you go to running configuration, enter, then here you can see enable password is Irash, and here you can see it is in a clear text format. That means anyone can see this password from behind my shoulder, or if anyone get a chance to see the running configuration, they can understand the password clearly from the running configuration because it is stored in the clear text. Now let's see how this password is working. For that, let me exit from the console. Now let me enter to the console. Now I am in the user mode, and in the user mode I have very limited access to the Cisco iOS to display some setting and status. That's it. If I want to configure or do more advanced administration tasks, I must go to the privilege mode or global configuration mode. Now let me go to the privilege mode by using the command enable, and when I press enter, now it is asking the password. So if I put anything here as a password, then it doesn't accept. It is keep asking me to enter the proper password. Now let me enter the proper password, which is Irash, then press enter. See, now I jump into the privilege mode. From the privilege mode, then I can go to global configuration mode without any error, because this enable password only applicable to jump into the privilege mode from the user mode, and after you enter to the privilege mode, you can go to configuration mode without a password. So this is the concept of enable password. So because of the disadvantage of enable password option, as it is saved in a clear text format and everyone can read it, Cisco introduced another option called enable secret. So what is the difference between this enable password and enable secret? In the enable password, as we said, the password is stored as a clear text format. But when we use the secret option, the password is stored as a encrypted format. And since it is an encrypted version, no one is able to read the password from the running configuration or from the console screen. Now let me show you how to set up a secret instead of password in my Cisco router. For that, let me take you to my Cisco router console, and here there is a message, press return to get started. So let me press the enter key. Now I am in the user mode. From the user mode, I want to go to the privilege mode. To go to privilege mode, I need to use the command enable, and when I press enter, see, now it is asking a password. And what is this password? This is the password that we had set up for the enable password. So that was Irash. And when I press the password Irash, I enter to the privilege mode. And from the privilege mode, I need to go to global configuration mode to enable the secret. For that, I am using the command configure terminal, then press enter. Now I am at the global configuration mode. Now what is the command to enable the secret? It is very simple, same like the password setup. We need to use the command enable. Then if you press the question mark, you can see there is 2 options only available after the enable. One is the password option that we already tried in the option 1, and now we are going to enable the secret. So let me put the command secret, then press the question mark again. Now in this level there are 4 options available. One is 0. It specifies an unencrypted password will follow. So if you are using the 0 here, we can tell the iOS that I am using an unencrypted password. if we are using the number 5, that means we are telling to the iOS that I am using an encrypted secret. And the third option, line, and you can see the line is in a capital letter. That means whatever I type after the command secret, the Cisco iOS will consider as the secret for this device. So if I type here the Cisco iOS will consider the word Cisco as a secret for this device. So here I am going to use the same word that I use in the password, that is called Irash. So I am going to configure the word Irash as the secret. For that I type Irash here. When I press enter, here there is a message. The enable secret you have chosen is the same as your enable password. This is not recommended. Re-enter enable secret. So the Cisco IO is saying to you that you already set up the same password as enable password. So it is not recommended to use the same word for enable secret also. You need to use a different word as a secret that is entirely different from the password. So this is the message. If you see this message, nowhere it is mentioned that setting up the secret Irash is failed. Instead, it is just giving a warning that you need to use a different password to use it as a secret. Now let me exit from this console and go to privilege mode. Now it is asking the password, and which password it is? It is the Irash that we set up here. When I enter, I am inside the privilege mode. Now if I go to show running configuration, here I can see already I enable a password called Irash, and again I have enabled a secret which is in encrypted format. So see the difference here. If you enable the password, anybody can see the password from your running configuration. But if you use the secret instead of password, that password will be stored as an encrypted format. So this is the encrypted format for this Irash, and no one can read it because it is not in the clear text. Now we can see that we have enabled the password and we have enabled the secret. What will happen when we enable both password and secret? So when we enable the secret, that means this password is no more valid. This password will not accept anymore, because enabling the secret will disable the password and only the secret will work to access the device. But how it is possible? Because when we log into the router, I use the word Irash and I got the access, and here Irash is the password. If you remember, I use the same word Irash for both the password and the secret, and what I enter to access the router, it is not the password, it is the secret. So let me show you that thing. Let me go to the configuration mode. Then let me use a different passphrase for the secret. So enable secret. Then I must enter the passphrase. So here I am going to use Irash 1. And when I enter, see, this time I didn't get any notification or warning message, because my enabled password is Irash and my enabled secret is Irash 1. Both are entirely different. So this time Cisco iOS doesn't give the warning to change the secret and use a different passphrase from the enabled password. Now my password is Irash and my secret is Irash 1. So now let me exit and again exit from here. Okay, now I am going to access the router from the beginning, and when I press enter, I am in the user mode. Let me go to the privilege mode by using the command enable. Now it is asking the password. Here my enabled password was Irash. So let me type the Irash here and enter. See, it doesn't accept, because when I configure the secret, it automatically disabled the password. Now only the secret will be enabled and you need to enter the secret passphrase, that is Irash 1. So let me type here Irash 1, then enter. See, now I got the access to the privilege mode. So this is the difference between the enable password and enable secret. Now you may have a question. If the enable secret is more secure and it is saving the password in encrypted format, then why Cisco still using the enable password option? This is a good question and only Cisco can answer that. One of the reason may be when the Cisco iOS introduced, there was only enable password option. The enable secret option with encrypted format it came later on. But still Cisco keep the old enable password option because there was so many old Cisco devices which contain only enable password. And when you copy that configuration into your new devices, you should get access to the new devices using the enable password. That may be one of the reason Cisco still keep the enable password option. Now another security feature is console password. What is this console password? The console password is using to protect the console access to your Cisco devices so that an unauthorized person cannot access your device console and do the configuration without your knowledge. Now let's talk about the console password. What is this console password? As its name indicates, console password is the password that used to protect the console access. So how you are getting the console access? If you want to get the console access, you need to connect a console cable between your laptop and your Cisco devices. Then you need to open any application such as PuTTY or Secure CRT and you can easily access the console of the device. So what if you can protect your console access with a password? That will be an extra layer of security for your network devices. So how to set up a password for your console? That is what I am going to show you now. For that, let me take you to my router and let me press enter. I am at the user mode. Then let me go to the privilege mode and now it is asking the password. This is the secret that we had set up earlier as Irash1. So let me type it Irash1, enter. Now I got the access to the privilege mode. Now let me go to the running configuration by using the command show running config, then press enter. And if you go down, you can see here there are three lane interface available. One is lane console 0, the second one is lane auxiliary, and the third one lane VTY. These are the three main lane interface available in the Cisco devices. And if you see all of these three, do you see any difference in between these three line interface? The difference you can see here is the command login. What is this login means? The command login means if you want to access that specific line interface, then you must login. That is the meaning of this login command. For example, if you want to access the lane console, then you don't want to login because there is no command specified that login is mandatory. If you want to access the lane auxiliary 0, no need to login because there is no command specified that login is mandatory. But if you want to access the lane VTY, then you must login because login is mandatory. Now here we are going to talk about the lane console 0. So under the lane console 0, there is no login required. That means there is no security enabled. So let's set up a login requirement for the console access. For that, first I need to go to the configuration mode by using the command configure terminal. Then from here, I need to go to that specific lane interface. And here, which lane interface we are going to configure? The console. So I need to go to lane console and 0. So this is the lane console interface and enter. Now you can see here I have entered to the configuration mode of lane console. And here let's see what are the options available here. If you enter the question mark here, you can see all the available commands here. Can you see this command which is called password? This command is using to set up a password for your lane console. So let me put the password here, password, and I am going to use the password called console. Okay, so this is my password, console, enter. Now I have set up the password console. Now you have set up a password, but you didn't tell the Cisco iOS that login is required. If you didn't say that login is required, Cisco iOS will not ask to enter the password. It will give you the access as it is because you didn't tell the Cisco iOS login is mandatory. So let me tell the Cisco iOS that login is required to enter the console. For that I am using the command login, then press enter. That means I have set up the login. Now let me exit from the lane console, then exit from the configuration mode. Now I am at the privilege mode. Let me go to the show running configuration here, and if you come down to the console interface, here you can see under the lane console 0, you can see I have a setup password called console and I have set up login is mandatory. So let's see if it is working or not. To test that thing, let me exit from here. Now I have exit from the console. Now when I press enter, as soon as I press enter, it is asking user access verification and it is asking the password. And here, which password we will enter? Is that the password we set up for the secret? No. Here we are going to enter the console password. My console password was console, then enter. Now I got the access to the user mode. So without this password, no one is going to get access to the user mode. And from user mode, if you want to go to privilege mode, use the command enable, and here now it is asking another password. And which password it is? Is it the console password? No. It is a secret that you had set up earlier. So it was Irash1. Enter. Now I am in the privilege mode. So this is how you protect your console access with a password. So same like this line console 0, you can set up a password and login requirement for the auxiliary line as well. This auxiliary interface is using to set up a modem or a dial-up network in your Cisco device. This is mainly using as a parallel connection to the Cisco devices. If your main network is down, still the engineer can use a dial-up modem and access your Cisco devices for any troubleshooting purpose. So same like what we did for the line console, we can set up a password and login requirement for the auxiliary interface as well. Another security feature is VTY password. This is also called the remote access password. If you want to configure your device to access remotely, you need to set up a password to secure your device, or anyone from your network can remotely access your device and read all of your configuration or destroy your device configuration. Let's see how we can protect the remote access to your Cisco device. For that, let me take you to my router again, then press enter. Now it is asking the console password, which is the console. Now let me go to the privilege mode by using the command enable. It is asking the secret, that is Irash1. Now I am at the privilege mode. Let me go to the running configuration here. When you go to the running configuration here, you can see here line VTY. So what is this VTY stands for? This is the interface that we are using to access this device remotely. And this VTY stands for virtual type terminal. And this is simply means from the line number 0 to line number 4. That means 5 lines starting from 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So if you see the line VTY interface, here you can see by default there is an option to login. But it was not there for the line console and line auxiliary, but only the remote terminal has an option to login. So this option to login is to protect the remote access to the device by default. For example, if you are going to set up a new Cisco device, before you set up the Cisco device, no one should access this device remotely and get the access to that. That's why by default there is a login option here. And you cannot log into a VTY terminal without setting up a password. Even here it is saying login is required to access this device remotely. Without the password, the remote access won't work. Let me show you with an example. Here you can see under the line VTY 0 to 4, we use the option login. Okay, so that means the login is required to access this device remotely. Now let me go to my PC and try to access this router remotely and see what message it is giving. Now here you can see I am at the command prompt of my computer, and from here let me ping the router, ping 192.168.1.1. This is the IP address of my router, and when I ping I can see there is a communication between my PC and the router. Now let me access the router remotely by using the command telnet. Okay, to access this router I am using here the command telnet, then enter the IP address of the router 192.168.1.1, and when I press enter, see this is the error message you are getting. Connecting to 192.168.1.1 closed by foreign host. So here the router closed the remote access from my PC because there is no password setup. Because to access that router, login is mandatory, but there is no password setup. In that case, no one will be able to access the router without setting a password. That's why the remote connection closed by the foreign host that is the router. Now let me remove the option login from the line VTY 0 to 4, then see what happened. For that I need to go to the configuration mode, then go to the line VTY 0 then 4. This means VTY lines 0 to 4, 5 concurrent connection, then enter, then go to the command no login to remove the login option, then press enter. Now exit, go to show running configuration, and when you go to the lane VTI 0 to 4, here you can see no login. That means login is not mandatory. Now this device is accessible via telnet even there is no password set for this device. To show this, let me go to the command prompt of my PC, then do a telnet to the router. Telnet 192.168.1.1. Okay, and when I press enter, see, it give me the access to the router. I am inside the router interface now because I remove the mandatory option to login. And from here, I can go to the privilege mode of the router using the command enable. It is asking me the password. The password was Irash1, and when I press enter, now I am at the privilege mode. Then again I can go to the configuration mode by using the command configure terminal. I am at the configuration mode. So this is what happening when you remove the mandatory login option from the Cisco router. Anyone can access this router using the telnet. Let me go back to the router console. Then let me enter a password under the lane VTY and let me configure the mandatory login. And let's see what happened after that. For that, I need to go to the configuration mode by using the command configure terminal. Then go to the lane VTY interface, lane VTY. Okay, when I configure the lane VTY, just press a question mark here, and here you can see enter the first lane number. So you can tell to the Cisco iOS in which lane you need to configure this password, or in which lane you need to configure the new settings. So here from 0 to 15 option is available. So let me put the 0 here. So that means I am going to configure this setting under lane VTY 0. You can configure multiple lane number together by specifying a start number and end number. So here 0 is my start number, and to see the end number, go to question mark again. Here you can see the maximum number is 15. So here I am using a virtual lab, and in my virtual lab maximum number of line available is 15. But when you deal with the real Cisco device and real Cisco iOS, there may be a huge number of lanes available. Some of the Cisco iOS even support 1370 lanes. That means there are total 1370 lane numbers are available. It means total 1370 people can get concurrent access to this router. It's a huge number. In real world no one access like that. So here we can take the first 5 lane. That means from 0 to 4. When you count it 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Total 5 lane I am going to configure here. Then press enter. Now I can use the command login to tell the Cisco iOS login is mandatory. And when I press enter, see, you got a notification message here. It's saying login disabled on lane 388 until the password is set. So Cisco iOS is giving us a notification. You have set up the login mandatory command here, but the login is disabled until you set a password. Same situation. So I'm going to set up a password here. For that, let me go to the question mark here. Here you can see you can set up a password using the command password. So let me put the password here, and my password is remote. Okay, then enter. When I go to exit, then exit from the configuration mode, go to show running configuration, and when you go here under lane VTY 0 to 4, I have set a password called remote and login is mandatory. Now let's try to access this router using telnet and see what is happening. Now let me go back to the command prompt of my PC and let me connect the router remotely using a telnet session. For that I am using the command telnet, then enter the IP address of the router, that is 192.168.1.1, and when I press enter, see, now it is asking the password. This is the same password we have configured under the lane VTY, that is remote. So let me enter the password remote and press enter. Now I get the access to the router. Now I can go to the enable command to enter to the privilege mode. Now it is asking the secret that we set up in the router. That was Irash 1. Now I got the access to the privilege mode. So this is how we configure the remote access in the Cisco devices under the line VTY. Now if you go to the show running configuration here, you can see I only set up the line VTY from the port 0 to 4, but still there are more ports are available. So if you want to set up a different password for the line interface 0, you can do that thing. If you want to set another password for the line VTY 1, you can do that thing. Basically you can set up different password for the different remote line, but that is not recommended, because when someone remotely access the router, you cannot predict it is going to land on line VTY 0, line VTY 1, 2, 3 or 4. It doesn't give any visibility like in which line interface you are going to land. So if you set up different password for each line, then you will never know which password you need to enter. So that is not recommended. So if you are going to set up a password for the line VTY, then make it common for every VTY interface, so that you need to enter a single password to land to any VTY interface. Another security feature is create a local user account and password in your device and assign that under the multiple access level. Now let me show you how to configure a username and password in Cisco devices. Normally we configure the username and password in Cisco devices for multiple purpose. Once if you created a username and password in Cisco device, you can use this username password for several purpose. Like you can use this to access the VPN, you can use this to log into the device, and so many options are available. But we will discuss about that multiple options in a different video. In this video, I am going to show you how to create the username and password in Cisco devices. For that, first of all, you need to go to configuration mode by using the command configure terminal. Then use the command username. Then press the question mark. What are the options available here? Here only one option available, that is word in capital letter. This indicates that Cisco iOS is asking us to enter the username, which username you want to put. So here I am going to use the username as Irash admin. So this is my username. Then go to question mark again. Here you have three options. One is the password, second one is to set the privilege level, and the third one is secret. So the same concept of password and secret applied here too. If you choose the password option, then your password will be stored as a clear text and everyone can read it. But if you use the option secret here, your password will be encrypted and stored in an encrypted format and no one can read it. So let me show you the difference here. First of all, I am going to create one user account with a password. So let me put here the password. Then when I go to question mark, it is asking me to enter the password here. So let me put the password Irash admin 1. Okay, so this is my password. And when I press enter, this username and password has been created. Now let me create another username with a secret instead of password, and my username should be global admin. Okay, then this time I am using the secret instead of password. So let me go to the secret option here. Now I need to enter my secret. So here I am going to use Irash admin 2 as a secret. In first place I use the Irash admin 1 as a password, and this time I am going to use Irash admin 2 as a secret. And when I press enter, this user ID also created. So here we created two user account. One is Irash admin and second one is global admin. The first one was created with the password and second one was created with the secret code. Now when I go to running configuration by using the command show running config, and when I enter here, you can see this is my first username Irash admin, and it is using password, and the password is stored in clear text and everyone can read it. The password is Irash 1. And the second user ID I was created was global admin user account, and here I use the secret, and here that password is stored in an encrypted format. so that no one can read it. So this is the difference between the password and secret in the Cisco iOS. And nowadays everyone use secret instead of password because it is highly secure and it is stored in the encrypted format. Now let me show you another concept. Let me go to the configuration mode and I am trying to create a new account here. If you can see, I am going to create one account called admin. Okay, and when I press question mark here, there is two options. One is password and another one is secret. And when you choose secret, then press the question mark again. Here you can see three options is available and this option we already tested. This option is saying you just need to enter the secret here. So after you type secret, press the question mark. Now you can see there is two options. One is 0 and another one is 5. What is that 0 and 5 means? If you see the description, when you use 0, it is saying to the Cisco iOS like, I am going to type an unencrypted secret. And if I use the 5, then it is saying I am going to enter a hidden secret. But why Cisco iOS provide these two options here when you create a user account? To understand this very clearly, let me go to the running configuration again by using the command show running configuration. And here if you see these two, the enable secret and enable password here. Enable secret, then 5. And what is this 5 means? The 5 means a hidden secret will follow. And that is what exactly here. In your running configuration, you can see the number 5 here. That means this is a hidden secret. So when you take a backup of this Cisco router and when you restore this backup in any other Cisco device, when you copy paste this command in that new Cisco router, that Cisco router can understand there is a 5. That means this is an encrypted format. So when you copy this command as it is into new router, the router will understand this is a hidden secret. So this will be saved as a hidden secret. So that means you don't want to use the $1 $M, this long password, to log into the router. Instead, you need to use the unencrypted format of this encrypted password to access the router. That's why the Cisco iOS provide an option to choose number 5 and number 0. And this is mainly usable when you backup and restore your configuration file from one device to another device. So in this chapter, we have discussed about how to configure the password in Cisco device. Then we have discussed about how to configure secret in Cisco device. We also discussed about how to configure console password in Cisco device. And also how to configure remote access password under line VTY in Cisco device. And finally, we have discussed about how to create a local user account and password in Cisco device. Thank you very much for watching and subscribe to the channel for more videos. Enhance your skills using Irash Academy.